Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good night, perhaps, depending on when you're watching this episode. We're picking up with ATS number 3 from basically Camp Verde, Arizona, and headed back over towards California, where we are going to haul a load of hay, believe it or not. So we're kind of mixing truck sim with farm sim and all that good stuff. So we're going to back up to our load of hay here and go ahead and pick this guy up. It is going to be somewhat of a nighttime run, anyways, because it is 1:57 in the morning. We are on the multiplayer server for ATS. We will probably do some single player at some point in time. I unfortunately still need to sort out my head tracking situation, and I know that that's sort of a story that keeps on telling itself, and my apologies for that, because I just need to basically fix it. As I run off the road there reading that message, unlock the differential with the V key. So we've done that. That's kind of new. Is that a new thing? I don't think I've ever seen that message before. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and head on down the road. And again, we are on the multiplayer server, so there isn't much traffic at all. Let's go ahead and pull into this Chevron station here. And let's go ahead and fuel up, just so we have enough fuel to make it over to California. And I've always been told that the California fuel prices are obviously a whole lot more than they are elsewhere in the world. And of course, I know that for a fact. I do, when I travel out to our headquarters in California, I do from time to time have the need to rent a car. And of course, occasionally I will have to fill the car up before I return it. Kind of depends on the situation and everything, but in any event, fuel prices are certainly more expensive in California than they are here in Colorado. And of course, other places in the world, your prices are going to obviously vary and everything. So as soon as I get my head tracking situation worked out, I will get over to single player for American Truck Simulator. I'll probably mix and match it up just a little bit, just because I do enjoy multiplayer. I might even could be convinced to do some runs with either some of you folks if you're interested, or maybe some of the folks over at PCSG, if we can get times to match up. That's the problem, is that unfortunately my schedule is as it is, and it changes from time to time, and there are things that I get busy with and everything, and I don't have time. And a lot of my friends that might be interested in doing multiplayer may live in different time zones. Rubber Burner Gaming, who is an individual that I met through the virtual trucking company that I had set up at one time, Grizzly Bear Trucking, and he lives 2 or 3 time zones ahead of me. So he's like on the sort of the far east coast of Canada, I believe, and so that's like 2 or 3 time zones from me. And so it's kind of difficult to match up with things, because obviously when he's home from work in the evenings, like Monday through Friday, I'm still at work. And then of course by the time I get home and eat and all that kind of stuff, and then get down to the basement to sort of find time to do a little bit of trucking and everything, if it's during the week and he's working the next day, then obviously he's already ready to go to bed. Understandable, most certain. So maybe we could do some multiplayer trucking if you guys are interested. If any of the viewers are interested, just maybe contact me on my Discord channel. Maybe come over there to the general page and chat with me about that, and see if we can get some times to match up, especially if we're close to the same time zone. Of course, the weekends might also work better as well. But that's another thing, is my weekends usually are kind of filled with things that I'm doing with my wife. You know, I'm usually doing any sort of live streams on early morning on Saturdays, maybe even before my wife even gets up, wakes up, and then other, you know, just other times when I sort of have time to be able to sit down and do something. But anyway, so hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. And we need to go ahead and get our speed on up here. I'm driving like a Sunday driver here as I'm sitting up here in the cab of this truck talking with you all. I can be hammering on down the road here. So we'll go ahead and kick our speed, our cruise control on here, and go ahead and punch this thing on up and take advantage of these higher speed limits through Arizona before we get into the granny speed limit state of California. And no disrespect for any of my California friends that might be watching, but my gosh, such slow speeds over there, especially compared to my home state of Texas. I do still enjoy going down, and here we go at 55. We need to slow this guy down. Let's see, we need to also exit, don't we? Need to pay attention. It's sort of multitasking at its best here, sitting here in the morning. It is early morning for me. I think it's like the 19th, I think, of July, and it's sort of an early morning for me. Yesterday morning I woke up really super early and I did a live stream. Did one of the single player Old Guy Farmer challenge live streams, and this morning I kind of woke up more or less normal time, I guess, but I've got a dentist appointment this morning, and so I actually don't need to go into the office until after that, and so I've sort of shifted my schedule today, so I'm going to more or less be working a little bit later this afternoon than normal to compensate for that. But you don't tune into my channel to hear about my daily schedule and my daily things that I go about doing. But speaking of the single player challenge, you know, it is sort of, you know, it's taking place live. Obviously I'm live streaming the action of that, and we're up into I think I did episode 11 last night, I believe it was, and so we'll probably do episode 12, or maybe it was 12 last night, I don't know. Anyway, we're on, you know, we're trying to get ourselves a little bit ahead of schedule. As I've sort of mentioned during those live streams, we have until November 1st to complete the challenge. And to normal people, November 1st probably seems like a long time away. After all, especially if you're enduring the heat of the summer, we all sort of know that by the time November comes around, we've certainly had a major break from the temperatures and everything. But when you're potentially going to have to travel a couple of times during this period of time between now and November 1st, and that's going to get, obviously, not going to be able to live stream during that time frame, then get a little bit nervous about it, especially when you start thinking about the number of days, or the number of game days, the number of episodes is what I should say. 72 episodes, playing 3 years at 6 game days per season. Do the math. That'll give you 72, and that's how many episodes it's going to take. So I think I'm at either 12 or 13. So not even really made a dent in it. But of course, I'm a little bit further ahead than some, but not quite as far ahead as others. So it's just all gonna you know, maybe come to the wire. I don't know. We'll just have to kind of see. Besides a couple of travel opportunities that I have coming up, one in, well, maybe 2 in August, one certainly in August, but maybe 2. My wife and I are also heading back up to the mountains for my birthday in October. That's the first part of October, and that's where we went for my 50th last year, and of course that's where we went this summer for vacation over the 4th of July holiday weekend that I've almost forgotten about. You know, it was such a wonderful vacation, and yeah, it just sort of seems like almost a figment of my imagination, sadly enough, and it's just been because it's been such a hectic week and a half or so since we've been back. More doctor's appointments and things going on at work and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what all that's all about, and that's kind of where we are with regards to that situation. Coming up on 3 o'clock in the morning, of course, ATS we play at well, we play at near real time. I mean, there's no as far as I know, there's no way to fast forward the time. It's a little bit slower pace, and I think that's what I was looking for to do this morning. I'm just trying to again build up a little bit of a backlog. I know I told you maybe a week or so ago that I was going to try to kick my episode schedule up to like 4 or 5 episodes per week, and of course, folks, that was before the Old Guy Farmer single player challenge news hit my desk, and before I found out about that. And so since I'm going to be live streaming most likely 4 to 5 or more episodes per week, I think I'm going to try to keep my recorded schedule, my recorded content schedule of episodes for both American Truck Sim, Euro Truck Simulator 2, and Farm Sim, because obviously we are still playing our Mountain Valley Farm series. So I'm going to try to keep those episodes to 3 to 4 episodes per week, sort of 3 guaranteed, 4 if I can swing it. And with regards to Flight Sim, I'll be honest with you, I think the majority of my fans, my friends, my subscribers on this channel, pretty much all came here because of Farm Sim. And while Flight Sim is certainly something that is important to me, and it's something that I still continue to enjoy to this day, as a matter of fact, I spent some time on Sunday. I did not live stream on Sunday. I did not play Farm Sim at all on Sunday. Kind of once I got some of my projects and stuff done on Saturday and kind of finished those up on Sunday morning, I did do some flying on VATSIM 737. The PMDG 737 came out not too long ago, and I have just been loving that thing. So the thing about it is doing recorded episodes, it's kind of difficult to keep that relatively short, within 30 minutes or 45 minutes or so, when we're talking about flying the tube liners, the jets. So you know, I can always shorten the videos, and I will certainly try to interject a video every now and again on the channel. But as far as it being sort of a regular thing, I think I'm just going to, maybe for now, at least until I get this Farmer Challenge thing out of the way. You know, once I start something, I always try to finish it. And of course, if something happens, if my work schedule just completely goes out the window, then obviously, you know, those kind of things come first. But once I start something, I do like to stick with it. I do like to meet my commitments and everything. And so with that said, right now the priority is going to be on that single player challenge, and I'm going to kind of reserve Flight Sim for just my personal private enjoyment for now, and then just kind of see how it goes. Okay, I don't know why we exited here. This is the weirdest thing. This sometimes does that, and of course, if you're paying attention and you kind of can see that, well, the road continues to go across there, so there's really no need to take this exit, because obviously we're not turning, and I stopped a bit too soon. I do sometimes get a bit confused, or not confused, but I'm sort of used to my braking on Farm Sim, and how hard I have to press on my brake pedal to basically get something to stop. Of course, the speeds and everything are a little bit different, but it takes me a little while to get used to braking in Truck Sim, because I guess I have my sensitivities and everything set just a little bit different. But yeah, this is just one of those anomalies where you know, the GPS has routed us to an off-ramp, and there was no need to take it. Now maybe it might have been thinking about, okay, well, this guy might want to collect that stretch of road down there to his roads traveled statistics. I really don't care about that. I don't necessarily go looking for stretches of highway that I have not traveled on. I do from time to time, check it and might change the route just a little bit if it's someplace that I have not. Certainly, if it's a place that I have not been and I need to slow down, because we're back in California now, I believe. And so, but I will kick it up to my 5 miles an hour over normal speed limit here. But anyway, that's just that, I suppose, and just the anomaly that is ATS and Euro Truck Simulator GPS routing, right? Grab me a sip of coffee here. I think my situation with my head tracker just boils down to the profile. There was a period of time that I was using my head tracker, my Track IR, for Farm Sim, and then also using it on Truck Sim, and there are I have two different profiles for that, because unfortunately some of the default key bindings for like the centering and stuff like that are active keys within ATS, and I know I could change those keys, but it's kind of one of those things that I've been playing ATS and ETS2 longer than what I have been using a head tracker, and so some of those key combinations, key bindings and stuff are sort of already mapped to my mind, to my memory, to my brain, and so it would be a course of retraining myself not to keep hitting those buttons. So I basically just set up a profile within Track IR to say that when this game loads, these are the buttons to control Track IR. So basically, recentering or pausing Track IR or whatever, because you do have to sort of recenter it quite frequently, especially if you want to be able to continue to look forward. But once I get that sorted out, I do want to do some single player ATS, because I have heard that the Volvo by Aerodeth, I believe is how you pronounce his name, has been updated. So I'm kind of curious as to what got updated and kind of how that truck now looks. It's been out for a little while, and it is a nice truck, and I'm seeing more and more Volvos going up and down the highway here in the U.S. Then almost I'm seeing Peterbilt, Kenworth, Freightliner, etc. So they are really starting to become a popular truck out on the interstate highway, and they're pretty darn nice looking as well. Of course, I like the old style Peterbilt, Kenworth trucks. I even like the new styles, and I realize that this is the third video since I've sort of kicked ATS and ETS2 back off, but this is obviously the third video for ATS, and I realize I've been driving the same truck for all three videos. At least I did pay attention when I selected our load and I got something that was different than that Case heavy haul tractor, because I think that we can only haul that so many times before we get bored of hauling the same thing. But I will certainly mix and match trucks up a little bit. I've got both older models, Kenworth and Peterbilts. I've got the newer models that I've already got purchased on my profile and everything, and so we'll mix. And I've got the Volvo. I've got my favorite truck, which is the Viper Peterbilt, and that is quite honestly perhaps one of the best mods that I have ever, at least freeware mods that I have ever used within ATS, ETS2, and Farm Sim. Anyways, it is such a remarkable truck, and I love it, love it, love it, love it. So I will showcase that, but since this was nighttime and I really didn't want to skip to sleep. I didn't need to sleep. Well, obviously we're playing on the multiplayer server, so we can't sleep and we can't skip nighttime. I just decided to go ahead and just go with this. But I will mix and match things up a little bit because I know that's important. It's important to me when I watch videos from some of my favorite YouTubers, and so I will do that. I know that stuff matters. So it's just trying to get things done, and remembering to get things done, remembering to do things, and we'll get to all that. So we're about 66 miles out from where we're going, and I've already forgotten where we're going now. I guess I need to do a better job of writing that stuff down, but I suppose we can look here. We're going to the winery, or the vineyards in Carlsbad. And as I'm sort of sitting here, I'm contemplating whether or not we drove from Carlsbad to Camp Verde. I can't remember if that was what we did in episode 2. Gosh, my memory. I sometimes think that my memory is slipping, but then again, also I got so much stuff on my mind. I've got, I'm still, Monday through Friday, I'm sort of in work mode, even though I use my simulation gaming to sort of relax, since this is, Wednesday morning just before 7 o'clock, and as soon as I record this and get this saved up to my storage drive for safekeeping until I can edit it and everything, then I'm headed to the dentist for my exam, and then I'm headed to the office. So I'm kind of already thinking about what I've got going on to do today, what I've got to do. We've got a VIP in town, and whenever that sort of happens, whenever somebody, and it's one of our senior VPs, whenever that occurs, a lot of times I'm in meetings and stuff that I don't normally have on my schedule, and I've got things that I'm doing that I don't normally have on my schedule to do, and that's just kind of, I think that's just kind of the way it goes, I guess, because obviously when these type of people come to town, you sort of clear your schedule, and the priority is all about them, right? Because after all, they're sort of the ones that are in control of our destiny and our future, and they approve the budgets that we work, and they approve our head count, and they approve the fact of allowing me to come in and work every day, and my badge works and all that kind of stuff, and I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. But having said all of that, when they're in town, oftentimes, they're the main emphasis, they're the main point, and everything else just kind of falls in place wherever it may land. And so that's kind of been what this week has been about for me, because they've been in town. We've got a major construction project going on in our office as well. Our office building was built, and as a matter of fact, I moved into it when it was brand new in mid-1999, and we were in that office for Y2K, and we had a state-of-the-art data center. This was for a company that I worked for before it was acquired, and so we moved into this building in 1999, and so here we are 2017, some 18 years later, and it's undergoing its first major renovation, and so it was starting to get a bit long in the tooth. Obviously 18 years is a long time. Not that interior has been painted and it's been maintained and everything, but it looks sort of like, when it was built, when it was designed in 1999, it sort of looked like a 1990s insurance office or something, and so they did 2 floors a year and a half ago, renovated that, and then they're doing the other 4 floors, or 3 floors this year. So they just started on this on July 1st, and the estimated time for completion is sometime in November. And so there's a lot of plastic hanging up, a lot of temporary walls and stuff that's sort of blocking off areas where they're doing all their demolition stuff, and then obviously redesigning some office areas, creating more of an open feel, if you will. I don't know how that's going to flow with a lot of people that have been around for a while. You know, lots of glass, sort of almost fish tank, fish aquarium kind of offices, and that's kind of weird for some people. To be sort of working in an environment where you feel like you're in a fishbowl and people on the outside can look in, including myself. I'm not real sure how even I'm going to feel about that. It's not our individual offices so much that are affected. It's just we're going to take the easy approach, just because I really need to end the stream and I need to get to my dentist appointment. So my apologies, but in any event, it is an odd concept, and so most of these fishbowl, fish aquarium type spaces are going to be the conference rooms. And the only problem with that is occasionally we have you know, highly sensitive, maybe even some top secret kind of stuff, not top secret government spy kind of stuff, but top secret company plans and company things that, you know, that we're kind of doing. And so with that said, it's going to be kind of odd to see how that's going to play out, because obviously a lot of times we have stuff on the projection screen and all that kind of stuff, and we wouldn't want people to see that until we're ready to announce those plans. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending this little trip with me from Arizona over to Carlsbad, California, hauling some hay for the winery. I guess maybe they use this to help keep the vineyard, or the vines, the grapes, and all of that stuff, the plants, warm in the wintertime perhaps. But anyway, we don't care. We just bring it. And so thank you all so much for coming along for the ride with us, and I appreciate it. And we'll just go ahead and hit T and go ahead and decouple and see how we did here. And I just appreciate you guys coming along. And I've finally remembered to turn the music off, because I don't want to get dinged for copyright stuff. So, yep. So we're here. Here's the results. Excellent. All that good stuff. And we'll go ahead and click continue. And thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate that. Take care. God bless you all. And we'll see you on down the line. Bye-bye for now.